Seeking English, S.A.T. Workbook, page 342, problem 1. Carl has $166 to spend on food for his animals. Now, narrative, chronology, I keep stressing these things. That's going to help this time. Which of the following expressions can be used to find all possible values of n? Which means that there could be more than one solution for n. Where n is equal to the amount of money Carl has left over, meaning it's going to be at the end of the story. The beginning of the story is $166, the end of the story is n. N is equal to the amount of money Carl has left over after buying at least 30 pounds, meaning he could buy more than that. 30 pounds of kangaroo food for $3.50 per pound. So looking at these possible answers, the form of the equation is not always a reliable indicator of which is the correct answer. Which ones are correctly formatted are the ones you want to try to consider first, because they're going to be less confusing to you. If they're wrong, you'll see it more quickly. You'll be able to eliminate them more quickly. So first one doesn't start with the beginning of the story, which should be 166. So I would suggest not starting with that one. Okay, these all start with 166, which is the beginning of the story. These three all end with n, which is the end of the story. And this one ends with 30n, which is an element of confusion. So just other than that, they're similarly complex, but where you can't rely on the number of digits or some other thing in order to quickly visually decide which thing to examine first. Seeing something that doesn't follow the narrative, putting that aside is usually a good plan, because like I said, things that at least look like they start and end in the right place are going to be easier to understand in terms of whether they tell you the right thing. In this case, what do we have? So I'm going to start with these two in the middle. One of these says that n could be larger than something. The other one says that n could be smaller than something. Okay, this little character here, aside from this other stuff that happens in the story, this character here tells you a lot, because it tells you an almost opposite story if you get it wrong. So n could be equal to everything on the other side, or could it be larger, or could it be smaller? Well, if he spends if he buys less than 30 pounds of kangaroo food, n could be larger. But it doesn't say that he might do that. It says that Carl might spend more. He might buy more than 30 pounds of kangaroo food, which pulls the range of possible sizes for n not upward but downward. N could be smaller than something. Okay, so out of these two versions, this one's already gone for consideration. And since we've already looked at this, n could be smaller, could be smaller. This one, whatever else might be wrong with this one, you don't have to think about it. You've already eliminated it. Okay, because it tells the wrong story. It says n could be larger rather than smaller. Between these two, then it becomes a question of where's the 30 belong? Okay, I don't have any special magical insight on this one, other than that to figure out what the cost is that you're going to subtract from his initial fund of 166, you need to multiply the number of pounds by the price per pound. But teacher, it might be different. I know it might be different from that. That's what this character in both cases tells you. The difference between these two stories, one of which we know has to be the correct story, is what's multiplied by what. Okay. Here, the 30 is a hint. This is the wrong answer. You should not necessarily trust that, but in this case, it's a good hint. Okay, that you're not solving for 30n. I know that's not really the reason. The real reason is that 30 doesn't belong there. The 30 is supposed to be multiplied. 30 is the number of pounds. Otherwise, you're going to be dividing something by taking this thing and then dividing it by the number of pounds, which is a completely different question. That's not what you're being asked to solve here. So if you're here, look at it again. Again, I don't have a magical explanation on this that will fascinate you. It's just that the price per pound needs to be multiplied by the number of pounds and then subtracted from this initial fund. So this is the correct answer. It has to be C. And hopefully what you'll take from this lesson is the order in which to approach things. Because if you just try to just go from top to bottom looking for anything that's wrong with them, It's not necessarily the most efficient. If you have to do it that way, again, do things the way you have to do them. I'm trying to show you some other way to approach this very large number of characters between these various answers. And a lot of it in this problem comes down to this one little character. You can eliminate half the answers by just telling, hey, that's the opposite story. Okay, that saves you a lot of trouble if you can spot it, or if it occurs to you. Hopefully it will occur to you.